Hello, everyone, and welcome. Welcome to the Tres Leches Sports Podcast. I'm Gil Matos. As always, joined by my friends, my colegas, longtime baseball announcer Uri Berenguer. How you doing, Yuri?
I'm doing, Gil. I'm doing all right, brother. Just happy to finally welcome in spring. You know, spring means the return of life, the return of daylight for us in the Northeast, and, of course, the return of baseball. So I'm living the dream right now, buddy.
Yeah,
how are you?
I've heard it's been a warm 48 degrees up there. Also joined by New England Patriots and New England Revolution reporter Omar Cabrera. How you doing, O?
I'm great. And actually, let me correct you. It's been in the 60s, by the way.
Boy.
So we're already starting on the wrong foot over here, Gil.
We all can't be in Miami, you know, living the life up in Miami Beach like you were this weekend.
That's coat weather down here. As always, guys, Tres Leches Sports Podcast bringing you three topics in the world of sports. And as always, Tres Leches brought to you in conjunction with El Mundo Boston. Let's get started, guys. Houston attorney Tony Busby has filed 16 civil lawsuits claiming that Texans QB Deshaun Watson committed acts of sexual misconduct against each of the 16 women filing the civil suits. Watson lawyers said he has strong evidence saying that one of the lawsuits alleging sexual assault is false and they will call into question all of the other ones. Guys, Watson has been very vocal about his desire to be traded out of Houston. Do these accusations deter teams from making a move on him? What do you think, Omar?
Oh, man, I definitely think so. I think so just because, you know what? I don't think many teams will want to risk their future making a trade, giving up a lot of picks at this moment for a player that could potentially be in trouble with the law. You know, I know there's a lot of rumors. We don't know the facts right now, but the potential for bringing some type of criminal charges still exists, guys. So until the facts come out, I don't see any team really taking that big risk of pretty much, you know what, putting at risk their future for a player that might not be able to play either this season or the following season. You know, I know it's like we stand by and we wait and see what happens. But to me, I think that's definitely going to keep a lot of teams away from making a potential trade with the Houston Texans.
Well, I mean, any type of suspension is going to be, it's going to be appealed and they're going to wait. Like, you know, all those things happen while the wheels turn here. Yuri, what are your thoughts on this? Do you think it deters teams from going after him?
Well, first of all, I think we all agree that the first thing that has to be said, make sure that it's said, is let's remember that he is innocent until proven guilty. That's what we live by in the United States. He's innocent until proven guilty. So we are not here. We're not smart enough. We don't have the expertise to talk about whether or not we think he did it or not. We're not talking about that. What we're talking about is his NFL, about his job. We're talking about his job and, you know, what it means to him and the Houston Astros. That I think I am qualified to talk about.
Yeah.
And I'll say this. It's been a while since I've said this, but I am compelled to say it right now. My boy is wicked smart. Like any Bostonian, any good Bostonian, he's wicked smart. Absolutely right. I mean, I got to agree with O. I mean, I think any team, any general manager, any team, any franchise that is willing or would be willing to trade for him right now has to be completely tone deaf, not aware of what's going on, not aware of the Me Too, the Me Too movement, not aware of the environment that we are living in, of the society we live in today. You got to be completely tone deaf. That's one. B, you also have to be pretty foolish to know that you have to run a team. Not just for one season, but hopefully for, you know, the foreseeable future. If you're a general manager, if you're the owner of a team, whatever, you have to run a team. Part of running a team is weighing the risks versus the rewards. You know, you typically in anything, most in life, usually you want low risk, high reward. Well, this isn't a low risk, high reward situation. This right now, the risk is pretty high. It's pretty high because you don't know what's going to happen. And if you don't know what's going to happen with something as delicate as this, you can't give up 3 or 4 draft picks. You can't give up your franchise's future. And by the way, you're giving a guy, you have to be taking on a guy they're gonna pay what, $30 million a year. On top of that,
Not if he's suspended.
So you're giving away your franchise. You're also giving him the keys to your team. We've discussed over and over, guys, and we're all in agreement that a quarterback in the NFL is the most important position in the major U.S. sports, in the major sports in the United States. It's the most important position in U.S. sports. It is. You're handing him the keys to your car. You're going to give those keys to him right now without knowing what's going to happen? You don't know what's going to happen. Listen, AB, we saw it with AB. AB was unemployed for over a year and a half. Why? Similar situation.
Yeah, but he's also nuts. AB's also completely nuts. And Deshaun Watson has, by all intents and purposes, been a leader, somebody who's spoken out against,
and that's why we give him benefit of the doubt
and everything else that's happened. And he's a guy that, like, let's be honest. I'm not here to comment on the accusations one way or another, but they are civil charges, not criminal charges, and it hasn't, until it goes through that process and all that stuff.
Exactly.
But I will tell you this: you guys do know what league we're talking about, right?
Yeah, the same league that didn't employ Antoine AB for a year and a half.
Yeah,
AB
was not employed for a year and a half because he had showed about 3 years of just being off his rocker a bit. But it's also the same league where the Chiefs didn't really care that Tyreek Hill had domestic assault charges against him, or that he broke his 3-year-old son's arm. Didn't really care that Greg Hardy slammed his girlfriend into a bathtub and slammed her in a pile of gloves either. Didn't really care at the end of the day that Antonio Brown, despite his erratic behavior and everything else, didn't really care of all that stuff in the past. So let's not fool ourselves. There's a whole bunch of Adrian Peterson as well. Listen, Ray Rice, if he still had some miles left in those legs, they would have brought him back. Ben Roethlisberger, let's not forget, he was accused of a bunch of different stuff and sexual assault and stuff. So guys, let's not forget that Deshaun Watson is supremely talented and in his prime.
That's all fine and dandy, and that's all fine and dandy, Gil. But you know what? It's not necessarily just about the NFL. It's about the franchise that is willing to do that. Because the only franchise right now that can say, yes, Deshaun Watson is our employee, and we're gonna, we have to wait until he's proven innocent or proven guilty, or whatever, to make a decision, are the Houston Texans. Why? Because he's already their employee. Any other franchise that would be willing to say, hey, we are willing to give you the future of our franchise with these 4 or 5 draft picks and $1 gazillion million for Deshaun Watson, is pretty much saying, hey, you know what? Those victims of sexual assault, you're not worth listening to. You're not worth at least being heard. We don't care about what the justice system is going to decide. We don't care. We don't care what they have to say, because we know, because he told us that he's innocent, we're going to hire him. That's what they're saying. You don't want to listen to what these women have to say. You don't want the judicial system to say, you know what, he's innocent. You have to have the judicial system say that, and not the public, not the LA. That's what I'm thinking. I'm saying any other franchise is saying, I don't want to listen to what these women have to say.
Yeah,
that's
but you need to have the judicial system say, I want to hear what those women are saying first before any of that is said. And if they think it's a case and they think there's stuff on there as well. So there's still a lot that it still needs to play out there.
So right now,
I just think that, again, it's the NFL, and he's supremely talented, and he's in the prime of his career. I think a team, they will be willing to take a chance on him. And who knows? This might be, Houston might just be like, we're not trading him or whatever. We've said it all along, we're not trading him or whatever. But the bottom line is, I think teams, because he's very talented, they'll be willing to sweep a little things under the rugs.
That's not the bottom line. That's your bottom line. That's your bottom line. That's not the bottom line.
Well,
that's your bottom line.
I don't know if you've seen the news, but there's 6 teams that are still interested in him, despite the fact that there's all these accusations.
I have seen the news. And you know what? If that was the case, and I was the Houston Texans right now, I'd be on the phone saying, hey, is that a place? Are you still interested? Here you go. Here you go. That's what I would do. I'm answering to you what I would do. If I'm in that situation, I'm looking at myself and saying, dude, I can't go get this guy. I don't know what's going to happen.
No,
Omar, you got to chime in on this, brother.
No, I was about to say, if that's the case, if there's teams still available, and I'm pretty sure they are, but, they definitely have to be really careful about this. The value has definitely gone down, because before they were willing to give multiple first-round picks, second, whatever, it's probably less now if they're going to make, if they're going to pull the trigger and make the straight. It's because of what you were saying, it's a big risk. So I don't think the value is as high as it was before, if we're going to compare, to how it would be right now at this moment.
Listen, this is one that definitely baffles the mind. I hear what you're saying, and you have great points. Hey, listen, I'm the one. I've been saying that the Houston Texans would be crazy to trade him away because of who he is, because of how good he is. This obviously throws, a spoke in the wheel.
It's crazy, mind-boggling that. And it's probably a topic for another day, but just crazy how everything's coming out now. The timing of it is that's what I think is just like, to me, like the crazy part, the timing of it, right? When the season's,
It's a lot of weird things here.
Yeah, a lot of weird things. That's why I said I think we can talk a whole podcast on this topic alone.
Yeah, there's a lot of strange things here. We'll see how it plays out for sure.
We'll see. Well, that's just it. Let's let it play out, and hopefully it plays out for the best. Whoever's innocent, may they be innocent, and whoever's not, well, the judicial system will take care of that. But well, guys, as they take care of that, we're also we're opening day, about just over a week away. Opening day, which happens to be actually, ironically enough, April Fool's Day. April Fool's Day to be exact. And baseball fans all over the U.S. are pretty much wondering what's the next season have and hold for their teams. Some have high hopes, high expectations. Other obviously not so much. I figured, dude, you know what? Why keep them waiting? It's never too early to predict what's going to happen at the end of a 162-game season, right? Never too early. Why not? I'm going to start with your predictions. I'm going to ask you for your predictions. Now, I'm not asking for you to tell me who the next World Series champion is. Just tell me who the next divisional champions are for each division, all 6. Who are the next divisional champs? And I'm going to start off. Who am I supposed to go with? With Omar? I think I'm going with Omar, right?
Oh, you're supposed to start with Gil right now.
Okay, I'll start with Gil. Sure, I'm sorry, my bad. What's up, Gil?
Yeah, well, I have everything for you. I have the division winners. I have the MVP. The
you have it all.
I have it all for you. So I'm going to go division. I'm going to go Yankees. Yankees in the AL East.
I like it.
I'm going to go White Sox in the Central. I think they have a lot of young talent. Astros, despite the fact that I hope they get shit everywhere they go. I think they're gonna win the West. And I'm gonna choose the Rays and the Twins as my 2 wildcard teams. Going over the NL, I'm gonna go with the Mets in the NL East over your Braves. I'm gonna go Cards in the Central, and I'm gonna go Dodgers in the West, of course, and then I'll do Padres and Braves as the wildcard teams. My World Series prediction. I'm going to go Dodgers. I'm going to go Dodgers over Yankees.
Oh, my God.
And then the MVPs, I'm going to go with Trout and Acuna. I'm the MVP.
Jeez, you picked MVPs.
Yeah.
Might as well give us Rookie of the Year, Manager of the Year. Dude, might as well.
I'm here. I'll give you my Cy Youngs, which is going to be Bieber and DeGrom.
Yeah.
And you want Rookie of the Year, Joe? I'll give you Rookie of the Year.
No, yeah, but since you're predicting everything, how are the Sox going to finish up the season?
4th place.
4th place. Yeah. Okay. Can you tell me who's going to win the Roberto Clemente Award? Now that I would be impressed. You know why he's so willing to give us all these predictions, Omar? You know why? The guy's been prepping for a fantasy draft. He's been prepping for fantasy baseball. We know how sick in the head he is, so that's why he's getting his confidence up. Yeah. He's getting prepared. That's why. All right, I'll take it for what it is.
Yeah. My Rookie of the Year is Randy Arozarena in the AL, the postseason hero, and I'm gonna go in the NL. I was gonna go with Hayes, the kid from Pittsburgh, but I'm gonna do I'm a Miami guy. I'm gonna go with Sixto Sanchez, the kid that electric. So yeah, those are my choices.
Hey, the man.
Bill, you're gonna make me feel like that kid that didn't complete his homework, because I feel like now my homework is incomplete. My project is incomplete over here.
The man's confident. The man's confident. The man's confident. Hey, how do you follow that up?
Yeah, I got to be honest. I mean, I prepared to what we discussed earlier, the divisional leaders, the winners.
I'm with you.
That's all I got. I think Gil just got his PhD. I'm just about to graduate over here. But yeah, man, just to, follow up on your original question, Yuri, this is what I got. And I agree. I think in the American League, I only agree with one team, with Gil, because I got in the East, I have Tampa Bay. I know the young. And I know they lost, Snell, one of their main pitchers, and they also lost. Who else did they lose? Charlie Morton this year, right? But I still feel like that's the team to beat in the East. We'll see what we're talking about in a few months. But to me, they're going to be the winners in the East. And the Central, Gil, I think you said Chicago White Sox. I'm going with Minnesota again. I think Minnesota had a better balanced lineup and also decent pitching. So I think they're going to make the playoff again, and they will finally win a game in the playoff, hopefully. And then and
then lose to the Yankees in 5.
Most likely. And then in the West, you know what? They're going to prove the haters wrong again. They did it last year. I know they didn't start the season too well, but they were only 1 game away from going back to the World Series. So I got the Houston Astros winning the West again.
The haters? You mean the haters? You mean everyone outside of Houston?
Well, I mean, yeah, everybody,
outside of Houston.
everybody, all of us over here. Well, they proved us wrong, right? So that's what I got, guys. And the National League, I got the Dodgers, definitely, man, team to beat in the West. I think they even have a team to go back to the World Series again. This is gonna make you happy in the East. I think even though the Mets, definitely gotten better this year, they've improved a lot. But I think the Atlanta Braves are the team to beat in the East. And finally, I got the St. Louis Cardinals. I think St. Louis Cardinals will win. Even though to me that's probably the most competitive division, probably the worst one too. I mean, it's probably the worst one, but more competitive within the division. I have St. Louis winning it, even though I think Milwaukee could also win it, but I got St. Louis winning it. Did I do my homework?
You did. You absolutely did your homework. Okay, if you ask me, I'm not the fantasy baseball, guru over here that just went nuts and just scored $1 million on the SAT. I mean, what's the highest you can score on the SAT? What is it? Do you guys know? What's the perfect score on the SAT? That's what Gil just did.
1600.
1600, right? Yeah.
One quick thing, just so I can get some bonus points here. Since Gil is getting all the extra points, I'm really looking forward to seeing the San Diego Padres this year. I think it's going to be a really exciting team. And if it wasn't because the Dodgers are so good, I will have them winning because I think they're going to be a really good team.
He's left the game today holding his hip. That's not a good sign.
That contract is looking how good right now, huh?
That's what I got, guys.
All right, guys. Thank you very much. You know what I think? I think I'm leaning more towards you. I mean, and again, hey, Gil may end up being,
Mr. Fantasy Baseball.
Just blows us away. But I got to stick with my guns, and I do agree with Gil on the American League East. You picked the Yankees, right?
Yeah.
I got to stay with the Yankees. I mean, all due respect to the Tampa Bay Rays, but I do think that they're still too young. I think, last year it's much easier in the sense you have 60 games. 60-game season, it's much. It's not that it's easy, but it is easier to in baseball. Let's be real. It's easier to fake it for that long than 162-game season. Baseball is a sport that's designed for the long haul. It's a marathon.
Yeah, and but they're gonna have fans back. Oh no, wait, they never have fans.
What a jerk. So as much as I hate them, it's in my DNA to hate them. I think the Yankees, they're just heads above everybody else, head and shoulders above everyone else. Not to discount the Toronto Blue Jays, but the Yankees pretty much bringing back the same roster, including DJ LeMahieu. They added Corey Kluber, Jameson Taillon, and Luis Severino. I mean, this may just be it. The Yankees, I think that roster is just too good. The AL Central, I'm sticking with the Twins. I like the Minnesota Twins for a couple of reasons. I love what Rocco Baldelli has done with that team. Rocco seems to have injected a lot of energy. Has brought back the Twins of early Ron Gardenhire. Is what I see with Rocco Baldelli. They re-signed Nelson Cruz. And that's a big, powerful bat that I think they had been missing for a long time. And also, let's not forget that the Cleveland Indians lost Francisco Lindor. They lost Carlos Carrasco. They lost Cesar Hernandez. I think that the Twins, they're going to continue at the top of that division. In the West, to be honest with you, the biggest reason why I gave it to these guys is because it's the weakest division in the American League. And unfortunately, they are the least weak of the weak, and that is the Houston Astros. I think that, they do still have too many tools, too many weapons for the rest of that division. That division is not going to be very good, in my opinion. And then NL East, I mean, guys, you really have to ask. I think, yes, my heart, as a fan, absolutely says the Braves, but also, the numbers, the roster. It's a young team that just got a whole lot more experience. Last year, they did it with a bunch of young kids in the pitching. Then when they made it to the playoffs, nobody knew who those pitchers were. Guess what? They made it to the playoffs on the back of those pitchers. So the Braves are going to have.
That's exactly why I picked against them, is because I don't trust young pitchers.
All right. Well, I'm going with them. The National League Central, Omar is dead on. It's the worst division in baseball. It's going to be the worst division in baseball, and just with that, I got to go with the team who's has the reputation, has the pedigree, and has Yadier Molina. So I got to stick with St. Louis. Finally, the National League West. Listen, the rich get richer. When you have it all, you have pretty much the same exact roster that won the World Series last year, including Mookie Betts now for 162 games, not just for 60 games. Guys, I witnessed 162-game seasons from Mookie Betts, right in person. It doesn't get any better than that. Now you have the Dodgers with everyone there. Oh, and they add Trevor Bauer, Blake Trinan. a team that's unfortunately for me, it looks like that in the National League they're unstoppable unless they have to meet up with the Braves.
So we basically picked everything the same except for the Braves and Mets.
The Braves? No, you didn't pick the Cardinals, did you?
Yes, I did. You guys took the Braves.
Well, actually, me and Europe picked almost every team except for the Yankees. You picked Yankees, I picked Tampa Bay.
Oh, that's correct. That's right.
So 5 out of 6. I think, yeah, you and I picked maybe 3.
MVP in the American League, Mike Trout, even though his team will win 72 games.
Anyways, time to switch up the topic, guys. Guys, with the NBA trading deadline approaching later this week, some teams are sitting down players as they try to trade them to other teams. Yuri, in the long run, does this hurt the value of a player like Andre Drummond on the Cleveland Cavaliers, who hasn't played in a few weeks? We haven't seen him in action. So what do you think?
Guys, this is a tough one because it can go both ways. I mean, and I think it really comes down to the person, the player. I think it can vary just by the type of the personality of the player. Is it a player that's that has that focus, that ability to stay training the same way? Some players have that talent, some don't. So that's where it's kind of iffy to me, because I think it is a whole an individual basis. It can vary on an individual basis. Now, you mentioned Andre Drummond. This guy's, we're talking about a veteran, How long is Andre Drummond? I was looking it up just now.
But his question is, does it ruin his value, though? Not do you think that he's going to stay in
the
shape?
value?
I use him as an example.
Because so a team is making that cognizant decision of being like, we're going to sit you down so you don't get hurt.
I don't think it does. And I don't think it does because of that. I think when you're, and this is where we're going with that, especially with veteran players, I don't think it does. I think they've already proven who they are. They've already shown, the league already knows who they are. The league already knows who these players are. We're not talking about rookies or whatnot. We're talking about veterans who the league, they've built a reputation. They got their resume. I don't think it hurts their value. If anything, I think it may. I don't know if it improves it, but it may just keep it just the same, because teams that are in the running for a title, they want to make sure that guys that they go out and get are perfectly healthy. And I just think this is the right thing to do.
Yeah. But do you know if they're perfectly healthy? If they haven't played in weeks.
You can play devil's advocate.
And then also, I just think, we were mentioning before about the Houston Texans and Deshaun Watson, and are they going to be able to get the haul they thought they were going to be able to get, or that everybody's talking they were going to get with all these problems? Is it the same with NBA teams when they're like, I know you want to trade this dude. You haven't played him in 3 weeks. Why am I going to give you a boatload of draft picks when, okay, great, you can eat that contract up then or whatever, So, and Andre Drummond is one of them. Marcus Aldridge is another one of them. These guys who are proven veterans, guys that, their style of basketball may not fit with the way basketball is now, but they can certainly help a contender right now for sure. But I don't know. I know the players probably certainly don't mind. Oh, I don't have to go to the court. I don't have to go fly around. I don't have to go, everywhere else during COVID and all that. So, I don't know. I think that's a tough one. I think the question, just taking your question, Omar, and saying, does it hurt their value? I do think in a way it does hurt their value. I think it just in the sense of me being another team and what I'm going to offer you, knowing that you're definitely looking to trade that guy and that you're willing to sit him to move him and make sure he doesn't get hurt. To me, that shows a sense of desperation. You're kind of showing your hand a little bit. Although, the other argument is there are no secrets in the NBA and everybody knows who wants to get rid of who. So.
That was my argument. I feel like, for the most part, especially these guys that might be getting traded to other teams, all the general managers, scouts, they know who this guy is. You know what I mean? They pretty sure they've been scouting him for years. So they know that his style of game, what he brings to the court every day. So I don't feel like they really need to see him recently to see what he brings. The only good thing, the other argument you said earlier, you don't know, are they healthy enough? Because you haven't seen him in a while. So that's the only problem, that, are you taking a risk? The other team for trading for a guy like this, because we haven't seen him in a while. So you don't know if you're going to get him at 100% or at 80%. So, you can go either way. So you said, you're right. This is a tricky question.
But again, it is a tricky question. Yeah, absolutely. But let's stick to our gut. Let's make a decision. Do you think yes or no? I don't think. I stick to it that I don't think it hurts their value. I agree. Yes, it could go either way. But no, I'm going to stick with my guns. I don't think it hurts their value. I think again, a veteran guys. Veteran guys build a reputation for a reason. They are who they are. I think it does not hurt their value.
Same here. If I'm a GM and I have to pull the trigger on a guy that I haven't seen play, but I know what type of players, I will definitely make it happen. So,
Gil, so you're sticking with yours?
I just think it does in a certain way kind of lessen the leverage that you have when you know that you're trying to get rid of somebody and you're trying to get rid of that person. So, but again, there's only a handful of teams that can trade for these guys anyways. I personally think LaMarcus Aldridge will look good in green. I think he can help the Celtics team out a bit, but I don't think, I still don't think they have what it takes this year anyways. But anyways, that's a different topic for another day.
Keep the name Gordon in mind. Keep an eye on that.
Who, Jeff Gordon, the race car driver?
Gordon from Orlando.
Gordon Hayward again? No.
Well, guys, we reached the end of the episode here where we give the abrazo or the chancletazo, where we give somebody a hug or a spanking with a flip-flop. Omar, let's start off with you. What do you have this week?
Man, I'm going to continue with my tradition from way, way, way back. I got a big abrazo for Mike Tyson and his team this week for rejecting. I know you guys probably, are you crazy for giving him a hug for that? For rejecting a $25 million purse guarantee to fight Evander Holyfield, Gil, in your hometown of Miami on Memorial Day weekend. The two sides have been in talk for a while about getting Tyson and Holyfield on the ring for a third time. But seriously, guys, come on. Do you really want to see that? Especially knowing that recently Evander Holyfield, he had a lot of health issues. I wouldn't want to see that, and I probably wouldn't pay for that. So big abrazo for Mike Tyson and his team for saying no to, to a lot of money.
I disagree. I absolutely know you would pay for it. Because I would end up paying for it too. I don't want to see it. I really don't. If you tell me right now, ask me, do I want to see it? No, I don't want to see that crap. But if it became real, if it happened, if it's going to happen, sign me up. I got to see it. You would pay for it.
If you order it, I'll come over and watch.
I buy everything, but I would have bought the Roy Jones Tyson fight had I been home, but I was away, so I ended up watching on some weird on Facebook. But
I bought it.
But yeah, I would definitely buy it, and I'm curious as to why he said no. I don't buy that he's saying no because he thinks it's too many headshots or whatever. I think he just wants a little more.
Yeah, really?
Yeah. He just learned his lesson. He learned his lesson. Like, man, this guy was already beating my ass twice. I had to bite his ear off once, and he was still beating my ass. Do I really want to get my ass kicked third time? He learned his lesson.
Yeah. Or that. Yeah, he knows he can milk it with a few other people, a few other opponents, and make a little more money. And if he loses to Holyfield, then he loses that mystique. But he wants to watch him fight, right? Yuri, what do you got this week?
I am going back to my roots, I guess, so my norm, and I'm going to again start whooping some people. I'm giving a chancletazo out. Got to give a chancletazo, and this chancletazo goes to the WFTs, not the WTF, but the WFTs, the Washington Football Team. The Washington Football Team and their team president Jason Wright, the entire organization, who recently stated that they're considering keeping the Washington Football Team as their permanent name. They say that they apparently they considered they were considering the fans, and they apparently they said, excuse me, let me get this right. They go that it caught some traction. There we go. They caught some traction with the fan base, and it represents them well. They want something that represents them well. I'm like, who the hell is your marketing team? Who the hell do you have as being part of your creative team? Like, the best thing you come up with is a Washington Football Team. Now you've had a year, just about a year of being able to come up with of time to come up with a real name, and you can't come up with anything better than the Washington Football Team. Are you me?
I mean,
come on, dude. Really? That's seriously. And I can't. And don't tell me that.
Isn't it, Omar? That's a soccer thing. There's no
real soccer team. A lot of clubs are like,
it's a soccer thing, right?
Football club, football club Chelsea, things
Man
like that.
City.
So,
that's fine. Yeah. But not football.
Maybe you're not used to it. I know you're not a soccer guy. You're not used to it.
So you like it? You like it?
I wouldn't mind. You know what? It's funny. While you were mentioning that, the New England football team. How did that sound?
That is stupid. That is stupid.
It sounds funny, but
it sounds stupid. Not funny. It sounds stupid. Washington
I don't think it sounds
team.
stupid.
Get out of here. Get out of my face.
I mean, I'd rather them get a real name, but I don't think it's that bad.
So you're calling it not a real name. You're calling it a fake name by saying I'd rather them get a real name. You're saying it's not a real name. This is stupid.
I mean, like every other team does, but.
It's a very
I'm a
American
soccer
way
guy,
to
so
look
it doesn't
at
bother me.
You got to get a better marketing team. That's
It's a
awful.
very American way to look at it. Yuri.
Yep, and I agree. Hey, well, okay, call me American if you want. Sure, I'm American. What the hell?
I'm just saying that. I'm not saying that as a derogatory term. I'm just saying that's a very American way of looking at it. There's sports outside of this country.
Yeah, and I don't like it. What the hell? I can't give my chocolate tazo. Wait, since when does a chocolate tazo get an opportunity to disagree with my damn chocolate tazo? I can give my chocolate tazo to whoever the hell I want.
I don't have to agree with it. I'm going to give a chancletazo this week for the NCAA for being absolute clowns like they always are, for the difference in the way they have been treating the men and the women teams at their respective NCAA tournaments is absolutely embarrassing. So starting with the official March Madness Twitter account saying that it's the official March Madness destination for all things Division I NCAA men's basketball. The executive leadership should be absolutely embarrassed. We're talking about also the disparity in the weight rooms to not having the most accurate type of COVID test for the women, the swag bags, which are completely different type of bags that they're giving all the players for being at the tournament, the quality of the food, so it's clear that in their minds, they thought the women didn't deserve the same thing the men do. So I think that's absolutely disgusting. And listen, it's nothing new. It's something that women's sports has been dealing with forever, but for this to be happening in 2021, it's absolutely inexplicable. So a huge chunk of that to the NCAA. And then the final thing is just a huge chunk of that's to all the Celtics fans who think that Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum are the problem instead of the solution here. Like
Omar.
Said that. I never said that. I just said they're inconsistent.
You just gave me, by the way. I know I'm alone on this one here, but you just gave me more reason to not really care much about about March Madness. To not really care about the tournament. I've never really followed it, never gotten into it. But after hearing that story, I'm like, even more.
But March Madness is a great tournament. It's the only tournament where you get to see, all these different teams coming together, and that's why I love it. But really, you should get into it.
I'll let you tell me about it.
Yeah, I haven't been following it much this year, but normally I'm super into it, and it's. I don't think this should be taken out on the kids that are playing. It's definitely the adults in the room who are making these decisions. And the NCAA they always look like clowns. They always look like clowns. So, anyways, that's my.
They still shouldn't be watching the football team, damn it.
Well, we reached the end of this episode of the Tres Leches Sports Podcast. As always, brought to you in conjunction with El Mundo Boston. Check us out on our socials. Make sure to check us out next week as well. For Yuri, Omar, I'm Gil Matos. Peace out.
Omar, all the best to your mom, yourself, your family, and your uncle.
Appreciate it, guys. Everybody have a great week.
Have a good one.